Good morning. Welcome back to video number 2 of thermal power plant. In this video lecture we are going to cover following topics: feed water heaters, economizer, air preheaters, steam turbines that includes impulse turbine and reaction turbine, condenser, deaerator, cooling towers and spray ponds, and electrostatic precipitator. Feed water heaters, as the name itself suggests, these heaters are used to heat the feed water by means of blend steam before it is supplied to the boiler. Necessity of heating feed water before feeding it back to the boiler arises due to following reasons. It actually improves overall efficiency of the heat system. The dissolved oxygen which could otherwise cause boiler corrosion are removed in the feed water system. This is the diagram showing you how turbine and condenser and feed water system is connected to the boiler. You can very much relate the above topic with this diagram. This is your feed water heater. This actually improves the overall efficiency of this cycle. Now let us come to economizer. Boilers are provided with economizer and air preheaters to recover heat from the flue gases. An increase of about 20% in boiler efficiency is achieved by providing both economizer and air preheaters. Economizers alone gives only 10 to 12% efficiency increase, causes saving in fuel consumption by 5 to 15%, which is very much substantial. The feed water from the high pressure heaters enters the economizer and picks up heat from the flue gases after the low temperature superheater. Economizer can be classified as an inline or staggered arrangement based on the type of tube arrangement. For pressure of 70 kg per centimeter square or more than this, economizer becomes a necessity. The tubes are arranged in parallel continuous loops. You can have the idea of economizer with these following block diagrams. This is your boiler. From the boiler, exhaust gas are coming out. These exhaust gases are having heat which would otherwise lost into environment, but we are going to tap this heat, exhaust gases heat. Feed water system. The heat from exhaust gases is given to feed water system. Feed water system is inlet to the boiler. If water entering to the boiler is already given heat, it will overall increase the efficiency of this heat process. We are actually heating it, preheating it before entering to the boiler. This cycle shows you how actually it is increasing the overall efficiency. Air preheaters. After the flue gases leave economizer, some further heat can be extracted from it and it is used to heat the incoming air for combustion and thus preheating it. Air preheaters may be of following types: plate type, tubular type, regenerative type. Cooling of flue gases by 20 degree increase the efficiency of the plant by 1 degree. Means 20 degree increase of flue gases cooling, it increases plant efficiency by 1%. The use of air preheaters is more economical with pulverized fuel boilers because the temperature of flue gases going out is sufficiently large and high air temperature, that is between 250 degrees centigrade to 350 degrees centigrade, is always desirable for better combustion. Air preheaters should have high thermal efficiency, reliability of operation, less maintenance charges, should occupy small spaces, and affordable and reasonable in initial capital cost, and it should be easily accessible. This is showing your air preheater. This is flue gases going in, marked by this arrow. After this flue gas in, fresh air is in. Fresh air is in into the system. This fresh air will get hot air out. This fresh air inside the system gets hot by the flue gas in. Whatever flue gas has left out, it will come out as flue gas to the main stack. Let us come to steam turbines, which is very much important to this topic. Steam entering from a small opening attains a very high velocity. The velocity attained during expansion depends on the initial and final content of the steam. The difference in initial and final heat content represent the heat energy to be converted to kinetic energy. Now this theory and this concept has already been discussed in video number 1, that the rotation of the turbine depends on the heat and pressure difference between inlet point and outlet point of the turbine, the prime mover. There are two types of steam turbines. One is your impulse turbine and the second one is your reaction turbine. Impulse turbine, in this turbine there are alternate rows of moving and fixed blades. The moving blades are mounted on the shaft and fixed blades are fixed to the casing of the turbine. You can see this. There is a stationary nozzle. From nozzle, the turbine is having bucket like structure which is mounted on its shaft surface and which is moving by the very high speeding steam falling on its bucket surface, and it is thus moving. A set of fixed nozzle is provided and steam is passed through these nozzles. The potential energy in steam due to pressure and internal energy is converted to kinetic energy. The steam comes out of the nozzles with very high velocity and impinges on the rotor blades. The direction of steam flow changes without changing its pressure, and thus due to the change in momentum the turbine rotor starts rotating. Now let us come to reaction turbine. Reaction turbine has no nozzles. These two have alternate rows of moving and fixed blades. When high pressure steam passes through fixed blades, then steam pressure drops down and velocity of steam increases. As steam passes over moving blades, the steam expands and imparts energy, resulting in reduction in pressure and velocity of steam. Compounding of steam turbines. This is very important. Compounding means adding up different types of turbines together, all together. Single stage turbines are of low efficiency. Therefore, this has led to combine or add up multiple stages turbines. In compounding, a number of rotors are connected or keyed to the same shaft. Obviously, it should be keyed on same shaft to produce the desirable RPM. Two types of compounding are actually used. One is your velocity compounding and the another one is your pressure compounding. In the diagram you can see the different kinds of turbines are actually mounted on the same shaft. This is the shaft axis and this is one turbine, one stage, this one is another stage and this one is another stage. This is making you compounding of steam turbines. This is actually compounding of steam turbines. And what has led to the compounding of steam turbines? Single stage turbines are of actually low efficiency. So the whole of thermal power plant is actually having high operating cost as because of coal. So we are not going to allow this low efficiency to further increase the end product. So wherever it is a scope of improving the low efficiency, we can and we should actually increase the efficiency. For the prime mover, when it is used single stagely, it is giving you low efficiency. So compounding is the solution. In compounding, different types of rotors are connected to the same shaft as shown in this diagram. Let us come to governing of steam turbines. Governing of steam turbines means we are actually invigilating the amount of steam entering to our prime mover, the turbine, so that it can give you the desirable value of RPM. High value of RPM is actually required to induce EMF as an end result. When we are having lower, this is, see this diagram, this is your speed governor system, flyball speed governor system. This is lower section, this is the raise section. If you want to lower the speed, just lift it upward. If you want to raise the speed, just pull it downward. What is happening here? This is another section, this is another section, this is another section, this is another section, combined by pulley system or hinged at this pulley type arrangement. Now let us see what is happening if this is raise label is down. If it is down, this point will come downward. This point will come downward, or it will push it upward. If it is going upward, it will come downward. It is connected, it is interconnected. See this. This one and this one are interconnected via this. If it is going downward, it will obviously go upward. In this way, this is actually controlled. This is your speed changer mechanism. Now let us go to condenser. This is your condensers. The function of the condenser is to condense the steam exiting the turbine. The condenser helps maintain low pressure at the exhaust, which is very much required by the system. Two types of condensers are actually used. This is your water outlet, water coming out from this. This is your, the red one is shown for the steam one. This is steam. Water is inlet. This is different types of sheets, tube sheets. This is to ejector vacuum system. As I already told you, two types of condensers are used. Here I have given you the difference between these two types of condenser: jet condenser contact type and surface condenser non-contact type. Jet condensers exhaust steam mixes with cooling water. Steam and water do not mix. Temperature of the condensate and cooling water is same while leaving the condenser. In surface condenser, condensate temperature is higher than the cooling water temperature at outlet. In jet condenser, condensate cannot be recovered. In surface condenser, condensate recovery is fed back to the boiler. Jet condenser, heat exchanged by direct conduction method. In surface condenser, heat transfer through process of convection. Jet condenser, low initial cost. This is very much important. Surface condenser, initial cost is high. This initial cost is lower. So this one is widely preferred. In jet condenser, high power required for pumping water. In surface condenser, condensate is not wasted, so pumping water is less. See this, the diagram of surface condenser. This is your jet condenser. This is your exhaust steam inlet. This is your cooling pond hot well. This is your injector pump, and this is your air pump. Now let us move to deaerators. As the name itself suggests, deaerators, removing oxygen content. A deaerator is a device that is widely used for the removal of oxygen and other dissolved gases from the feed water to steam generating boilers. If it is not done, if deaerators is not done, then it will badly infect the water feed system, the boiler system. There are two basic types of deaerators, tray type and spray type. The tray type, also called the cascaded type, includes a vertical doomed deaeration section mounted on top of a horizontal cylindrical vessel, which serves as the deaerated boiler feed water storage tank. The spray type consists only of a horizontal or vertical cylindrical vessel which serves as both the deaeration section and the boiler feed water storage tank. Cooling towers and spray ponds. Condensers usually need huge quantity of water to condense the steam. Water is fed into the plants by means of circulating water pumps, and after passing through the condenser is discharged back into the river from which it was initially taken into the system and fed into the plants. If such a source is not available, closed cooling water circuit is used where the water, the warm water coming out of the condenser is pooled and reused. This is done at industrial level. In such cases, ponds and cooling towers are used where the water loses heat to the atmosphere. This is your cooling towers. Now let us move towards the very important topic of this section, this video lecture, that is your ESP, electrostatic precipitators. In video number 1, I have given you a real-time example of Obra Dam. The city Obra Dam is actually suffering and has suffered very badly of the menace of flue gases. The flue gases is containing powdered form, the burned powder form of ashes of coal. If it is not extracted before leaving into the atmosphere, it will percolate into the atmosphere and on the vegetation of the atmosphere. It will form a white canopy on overall, like on trees and plants and animals, on whatever grounds and open surfaces, on water bodies or ground. This will lead to severe pollution of the vegetation, and that vegetation fed to animals and we human beings, and the respiratory failure of all the living organisms living in that vicinity. So what is the solution? Electrostatic precipitation is the solutions. See this, dry air is entering. It is at the single stage. First step, it is pre-filter. This is your ionizing section. Every hot particle is having or can be given plus charge or negative charge. This all we know. When you rub a glass rod or comb your hair with plastic comb, it gets charged. This is the principle used here. When the fly gas is going out into the atmosphere, just before that situation or that time, we are actually precipitating by means of electrostatic principle. This is your collecting plates. In these collecting plates, whatever fly gases is having plus charges or minus charges, let's suppose these collecting plates are given minus charges, or this fly gases burned fly gases is having plus charges. If this plus charges is going away, going outside this way, it will get attracted and deposited on these plates. It will get attracted and deposited on these plates. which can be later on hammered and collected within, and which can be dumped or reused. Let me explain this process in little bit more detail. Every particle either has or can be given a charge, positive or negative. This is very much clear to everybody. We impart a negative charge to all the particles in a gas stream in ESP, electrostatic precipitator. Then a grounded plate having a positive charge is set up. See this. This one is one charge, second one is one charge, another charge. This is having plus charge going through this will attract to this one, and this plate will repel to this. This plate will have lots of deposition over this, which is later on hammered and collected into a vessel. This can be transported to reusable area. In this manner, we are actually freeing this ash particle very minutely, and very small ash particle going into the atmosphere, which would otherwise disturb the atmosphere and the respiratory system of all the living beings there, including human being, of course. This is another pictorial depiction of how it is actually behaving. This is first process. The smoke particle pick up a negative charge. Smoke particles are attracted to the collecting plates. Why? Because these collecting plates are given positive charge. This is your negatively charged metal grid. This is here, it is actually accumulating here, and gases are going into atmosphere without ash particle. Ash particles are here. This was all about in this video number 2. Thank you so much. We'll be coming with more details of this unit in video number 3.